going on, everybody? Happy Thursday.
What's up, everybody?
Because it's Thursday, you know what that means.
Brother Empowerment time.
Yep, and I'm excited about everything that's going down.
Except for this rain.
The funny thing is I actually like the rain, so that's not really a bad thing for me.
Not surprising.
You know, I'm kind of glad I didn't see you this week. But all jokes aside, bro, how has your week been so far?
The week so far, bro, has been actually really good. Just been chilling, man. Just laying low. I had to spend some money on my car, just some maintenance, routine maintenance and stuff like that. And so, that kind of, I had to spend or whatnot as far as to do it, but I wasn't too happy about that. But I was happy about the after effects, which my car being in pristine condition. So other than that, man, it's been chilling, man. It's been a really good week. Weather aside, it's been chill. We saw you yesterday. So,
It was yesterday you saw me?
Was it yesterday? Yes, I believe it was.
Who you saw me yesterday?
We were at the graduation.
That was Tuesday.
Yeah, Tuesday. Yeah, that's what I said. Tuesday. But anyways, week's been really good, bro. Week's been pretty good. How about yourself?
Based off of what you're saying, no, it really, this week has been bananas for me. But I actually will tell you, it's actually been a spinoff from the weekend. This weekend, we celebrated one of our certified love advocates, Crystal Bodie Smith, 60th celebration.
Happy belated, Crystal.
Yeah, Crystal turned 60 and she turned up. So a few of us from the Love is Repairable crew went out to celebrate with her. And then I had an opportunity to see one of our other certified love advocates and recent advanced graduate, Kimberly Haynes Winborn.
Yes.
She's actually part of a music group back in the day. And she kind of stopped, but they got together for Crystal Bodie Smith because Crystal Bodie Smith used to manage them.
Oh, okay.
And it was pretty impressive.
Okay.
So it was like pretty dope seeing them in a different element. And I was like, wow. Yeah. So we got an opportunity to celebrate with Crystal, but we were in for a treat for ourselves.
That's what's up.
And then on Monday, what happened Monday? What happened Monday?
Sorry for me going to work.
I don't even know what happened Monday, but let's just go ahead to Tuesday. On Tuesday, we had our actual 3rd and 4th cohort graduation.
Yes.
And what made this so special was this was also the first time that we had our advanced certification given as well, because we had those who took the very first class. We had 6 of them from the very first class to recertify. So they're certified for 2 years as love advocates, actually advanced love advocates. So I'm definitely excited about that. And then we had our newest graduate, certified love advocates, that actually came in the place. We actually had, with our love advocates, we had Tashia Cromwell.
Yes.
We had Brian Carroll.
Yep.
We had Celeste Hennett.
Yes.
We had B. Johnson.
Yep.
And we had Natanya Yael Kelly.
Yes.
And then for our advance, we had Cordell Gibson, my wife Lolita Garnett. We had Tara Henry.
Yep.
We had Kimberly Winborn, Kimberly Dixon, and Lori Jones. So it was a great opportunity. This was actually a different graduation. Yes.
For the graduates.
In Parks. Why I felt like I knew what you were about to say. Oh, and for the certified newest advocates were in Parks. So yeah, it was pretty dope. But yeah, this was the first time that we actually had so many. One, it was our biggest graduation so far. Yeah. But 2, this was probably our most emotional.
Yeah, because that curveball you threw in there.
I didn't throw in a curveball.
Okay.
What curveball did I didn't throw a curveball.
Yeah, he put in, Jay being the meticulous planner that he is and always the one to make things look really dope. So he had us, the advanced, well, myself and the other advanced graduates, present the newest graduates with their certificate. Also, during the ceremony, we literally poured into them. We poured our sand into other sand with their sand.
It's another curveball. Guys, I just write things how they come to me. I am just a vessel. I don't do anything. I don't think about it. I just write down what is given to me. What is downloaded, I just give out.
That's true. But listen to me.
He lies. Then,
I am the captain now.
See, they be like, what happened to Brother Empowerment? Y'all remember on February 6th? But no. And then we got another major announcement.
Yes,
we got another major announcement. Do you guys know what our next major announcement is?
Some of y'all.
Do you guys know what our next major announcement is?
Go on, tell me, James.
Let me see. Let me see who's on here first. We got Nichelle that's on. We got my mama that's on. We got Karen that's on.
Hey, Karen.
We got Tara Henry that's on.
Hey,
we got Joey that's on.
Hey,
we got Matt that's on.
Matt, what's up, bro?
Yes? No? Maybe?
What, Matt?
Matt?
Yeah. He's afterwards, man.
Okay. We got another surprise coming later. We got Sean on. Tashia is on. What's going on? We got my brother Rodney on.
What's up, Rodney? Oh, Elijah Stewart's on. What's up, E?
We got Elijah Stewart on. Let me see. Oh, this is pretty dope. What's going on, Elijah? We ain't rapped in a minute.
Yeah, man.
So let me see. Oh, let me see. My brother. What did he say? It's a video. I can do a semi-login. It's too late, right? We're going to get you next week. Sorry. But yeah, my brother is on. We got Brian is on. He said he had a great time. And then my mom talking about it's the empowerment picnic. No, that's true. It's coming, but it's not that. Anybody else want to take a guess of what our next big announcement is? What's going on, Valden?
See, Terry.
Terry, shut up. Anyway, anybody else know what the surprise is?
Go on, tell me.
Nope. So let me tell you. You know we're kicking off our Junior Advocate program February 24th. If you haven't registered but you have children, you need to be in the building because we're going to be planning our Junior Advocate program. And I'm so excited. That's going to be led by my youngest daughter, Lanila Garnett, along with our co-parent advisor committee members. We got Tashia Cromwell and Ian Parks that's going to be in the building to help facilitate the discussions and everything that's going on with that. And so, with that being said, Lanila Garnett, who led the who's leading the youth advocacy program, along with my daughter, my older daughter, Leilani Garnett, wrote a book.
Yes, that's what they did.
They wrote a book, y'all. They wrote a book to help end bullying, positive self-image, and love. And guess what? It's out now on Amazon.
Yes.
Oh, I thought you were going to be more excited than that. Well, maybe y'all clapping for me now. Yeah. But that is powerful.
And also, I mean, because I just got to tell you, Max said he in no matter what was going on. So we go ahead and announce that.
Hold on. We got to wide this way. Guys, let me tell you, there's so much good things that are happening in 2020. We ain't playing no games. That's one of the things that Tara and I have been saying. We are not playing any games for 2020 because we are really set out to change the world. We believe that you can live in a unified society, and we believe that love is the way, and it's something when your children are on board. So y'all think I'm playing. These girls, 8 and 10, wrote the book.
Yep.
I didn't do anything, probably changed a little grammatical errors here and there, but everything as is how they wrote it. So you definitely want to get that book because that's something you can share with your children because we want to make sure that you guys understand how to end bullying, have a positive self-image, but also show love from a child's perspective. I think that that's dope.
Yep.
Okay?
It's really dope, man. Taking after dad because you got a whole bunch of books under your belt, sir.
Well, I only have 2. And speaking of that, the training manual for Love is a Parable for those who are not ready to take the class but want to know what everything is about, you can get the training book. It is called Afatha, a Love is a Parable reflection manual open to love. You definitely want to get that book. And then the re-release the re-release of my book, Random Thoughts, Faces of a Poetic Mind. You definitely want to get this, because if you got the book back in the day, there is some nuggets and some treats in here that wasn't in the original. I'm not going to say what it is, but you definitely want to get it. We ain't playing no games in 2020. I'm just saying.
No, we're not.
So the Junior Advocate Kickoff is the 24th of this month. And then we're having our special course down in Fayetteville at Fayetteville Tech. It's kicking off on the 29th of February. So if you haven't registered and you are in the Fayetteville area, you want to make it your due diligence to register, because seats are limited and we want to make sure that people are getting in there. Get in there. Yeah. But let me tell you this. We got another announcement.
So,
you don't even know this one.
okay.
You don't even know this one.
Oh, yeah, I don't know this one. Okay, never mind.
You don't even know this one.
Okay.
You don't know this one. So guess what? I told you we got our co-parent advisory committee members. We got that led by Tashia Cromwell and Ian Parks. They're co-leading that to help our daughter Lenata, right?
Yes.
Well, my wife and I, Lenata. And then we got Tara Henry, who's our advisory committee chair. She's helping lead and make sure everything is going smoothly with the advisory committee. And she advises us on some great stuff. She got a lot of great ideas. Ha ha ha, y'all can't take her. She belongs to me. Well, Love is a Parable, technically. But I share her with Love is a Parable. But we got somebody else on the advisory committee. Brian Carroll.
Okay. All right, Brian. See you, man. Congratulations.
So we're doing it. We got the 4 for 4. We got 4 in senior leadership, and then we got 4 members of our advisory committee. If you want to check out our advisory committee, actually it's 5 in senior leadership. I didn't even count myself. I'm so excited. I'm just counting y'all. But our leadership is complete. And our advisory committee is doing well right now. So we don't know. We're going to ride this wave and see how things are going. Great things are coming to guys. If you don't know, there's a lot of other stuff that's coming out, but we got to wait. I got to wait. You know, we got to wait in May before I make my next announcement. Like major announcement. And we're going to like hit them over the head and everybody like, what is going on?
Don't worry. Don't forget about it till then. That's going to be the great part. They going to forget.
No, because we're going to put out teasers so they don't forget.
Never mind, y'all won't forget. We're
not going to let you forget. Then, you know, just like you just said, straight off the press, we got Matt
McClendon
of Say the Daughter's Name
in Jericho's Grill,
who's going to be our official cook for this year's
Brother Empowerment Cookout. March 22nd.
March 22nd? You know the time? 3 to 5. Be there. We only do it 2 hours and we leave.
Lake Willow Park.
Lake Willow Park. So make sure you get your tickets. It's only limited. That is limited too, because we need to know how much food they have. So you first. No, you go.
Make sure y'all check out In Jericho's Grill. My brother Mac, he has a Facebook page for that. Check him out. That brother can cook some food. Fish
was so good I burnt the roof of my mouth. Like it was just that good, and it didn't matter. But yeah, so those are some great things that are all happening, guys. That's just this week. Yeah. So if you want to go make sure you go check out the website. That way you can go purchase any of the books that you have. Whether you want to get Random Thoughts, Faces of a Poetic Mind, you can get that. If you want to get the Love is a Parable manual, you can get that. If you want to get the Junior Advocacy book, and guess what? It's called Love and Light. And guess what? Lanila named it Love and Light. It is learning how to pick up the slack. We explain what slack is in the book. But I said, baby, why did you want to name it Love and Light? She said, because love is the light that drives out hate. That's dope. Super dope. 8 years old. I'm proud. I'm impressed. They're doing good things. Y'all, this is just this week.
I was surprised who they got me.
Yeah, I'm surprised. Because I know who their dad is. Talk to somebody, she graduated, to my child who's emotional. Terry talking about emotional curveball. Shut up. Brian talking about they had a good time. Alden's on. Elijah, we already spoke. What's going on? Deanna Jackson is on.
Hello.
Michelle is on. Yep, she said, say that. Karen, yep. Yes, that is great. Celebrate. Joey, yes. We got Darius on. At the graduation.
Yes.
The graduation was so special because Tashia invited Darius. She didn't even know he was coming. Okay. So she started crying at the door. I didn't know why we was emotional, but I hugged him too because I felt like I needed to hug the guy. Yeah. Come to find out, the guy is a professional photographer.
Yep, he did that.
And he made me still look fat. I thought he was going to make me look slim, so we'll talk about that. That's like 2 points off. But the beautiful pictures that he took was amazing. Well, he didn't make me look fat. Because I'm naturally not fat. I'm naturally slim. See, it's the angle. He's got a bad angle. One row too many. One.
Hey, Darius, appreciate. Hey, it was lovely meeting you too, bro. Look forward to seeing you in the future too, brother. So for real.
Oh, he's going to be connected.
Oh, of course we.
No, he's going to be connected. Like I told him, like there is no such thing as coincidences with us.
Right.
He didn't even know. He done joined the Lovers of Parable tribe. He part of it, don't even know. He was like, all I did was take pictures. Oh, okay. That's you thought. Oh, and Wednesday. Had an opportunity to speak at NCCU.
Yes.
To a freshman class. So it's been a lot of things happening this week. And we tied. And then the tornado came in, hurricane, typhoon, whatever you want to call it. Yeah. But it came in and it was something powerful. So, and it put me to sleep. So I was excited about that. Cordell, we're waiting on your book.
Sir, I have no idea what you're talking about.
Books, correction. And Tara just saw you out. She was like, yeah. She's about, there's no more time left for announcements. See y'all next week.
James Hall. What's up, James?
He said, who looks familiar?
I don't know who he was actually talking
to. Okay. See? My mom said, we know that I'm slim. See? Brinkford, you know what? I'm done with her. Micah just said, oh, man.
Yeah, I think they'll be on, I think the show said they'll be on vacation or something like
that. What don't go on vacation? What's going on, Wally? Be on. Make sure we ain't missing nobody. Okay, we got to get into it because that took up a lot of time. I'm excited. I'm happy about it, as you can tell. Because I'll just say this. When you start making traction and you start making an impact, everything feels different. Mm-hmm. We spent so much time, and the funny thing is we haven't spent so much time because it's only going into our 3rd year. Yeah. But you spend time talking about what you're going to do. And there's always that fear of uncertainty or doubt. But when the things actually start happening and you start seeing the fruit of those things, you get excited because you're like, okay, I wasn't crazy. Yeah. I was doing what I was supposed to do. And that's a beautiful thing. One of the things that they talked about is financial planning and its importance. They was like, we should have a guest speaker on. We actually have had that on before, but we will probably revisit that and talk about things from a different perspective.
Yeah, for sure.
Let's get into this one. Toxic things, period. How to keep them out of your life. Want to go?
Well, so, and again, here on the show, we don't use the word toxic anymore. We say things like problematic or damaging, as my brother has, so eloquently put. So as far as, everybody has problematic or damaging things in their life. It's unfortunate one of those things that are unavoidable. Some of the things are directly within your sphere of control, and some things are things that you have no control over, whether it be things that you went through in your childhood or it's just some things that you just don't have any control over. As far as keeping them out of your life, I mean, as dark as this sounds, I don't think there's a lot you can do about making sure that nothing problematic happens to you or comes into your life. But I think that as far as keeping things out of your life or filtering them out, keeping your level of discernment high, I think is one of the biggest things as well. I mean, analyzing damaging things or damaging anything, situations, interactions, people, analyzing all those things and really discerning whether or not they are good for you and your spirit and your health, whether it be physical and or emotional, is important. And so also I think as well, having good people around you. I think that it is said that you have good people around, but I think that something like that is very, very undervalued. Having good people around you, people who are genuine, people who care about you, people who hold you accountable for any and everything is so very valuable, especially when it comes to keeping damaging things away from you and out of your life. Because if you have the right people around you, sometimes they'll block. They'll play goalie for those damaging things. Keep them right out of your way. They don't even know that they're about to come to you. Because the people in your life are like, nope, goalie, no, go away. So, that's all I got.
I actually will say that I think that we need to check our attraction to damaging things as well. A lot of times we act as if we don't know that those things are approaching, when truth be told, we do. And if we really want to be honest, some of those damaging things we like to entertain because we find them fun or exciting.
Yeah.
So you might want to check your toxic meter and or also your toxic attraction to make sure that you're not drawing the very thing that you say that you don't want. Because we try to act like certain things we don't want and didn't know it happened. But if you like those negative things, go ahead and own it and just admit it. But don't act like you don't appreciate. Don't act like you don't want them when you're truly doing things to incite them and bring them into your life. Because now the difference between problematic type situations versus something toxic. Problematic, you have no control over. Toxic, you determine if you allow those things to infiltrate your environment. Your vessel, your body, your aura, your spirit, your energy. So you definitely want to check your meter and make sure that your smoke detector, batteries are charged or changed, or make sure you didn't do one of our numbers. When it started beeping, you just take it out. Because a lot of times we allow ourselves or leave the back door open for certain things, but when I like, oh, how did you get in here? Yeah. I was waiting on you. Yeah. So definitely check those things as well.
Yeah, I agree.
We got Cornelius that's on. What's going on, sir?
What's up, Cornelius?
So she said, yes, we do. And she's talking about being hungry is problematic for her.
You sound like you get hangry, Tashia. So yeah, that probably is problematic.
And this probably is dramatic. She probably will lay down and everything. I'm so famished.
I'm hungry. I'm starving.
I can't breathe. And then, Nichelle, you're not fat.
See? Nope, not at all.
Already. Let me see. Listening versus hearing and communicating with the opposite sex.
Your turn, bro.
You just dirty.
Nope, alternate.
I will say this. What annoys me about that is that we have allowed somebody to come in and say that there is a different type of communication between men and women. Mm-hmm. It really isn't. Yeah. There isn't a different type of communication. It was a study that was done, and I forgot the guy. Was it John Gray? Who came out with women are from Venus, men are from Mars. And then that became a phenomenon. And like, oh, this is why we think different. And then her brain came out talking about how we're wired differently. All of this actually came from a study. And the study did say that there is a natural process in the way that men and women process things differently. Mm-hmm. Okay? But when you told those same individuals something to focus on, they process exactly the same. Mm-hmm. So that lets you know if you guys are focused on the same thing, the way that you process is the same. Mm-hmm. The next thing that they found out in that study, even when they were thinking differently about certain things, their thought process was complementary. So it wasn't like, oh, it's different. No, it worked in unison together. So when you want to talk about listening versus hearing and communicating, you want to make sure that you're not walking into that saying, well, she already gonna think different, or he's already gonna think different, because you're already setting yourself up for that, because the expectation is to have some type of opposition. And we also have to realize disagreements are not the same as arguments. Right. Or even if a disagreement turns into an argument, it doesn't mean that we separate. Yep. It doesn't mean that we're not on the same team. So one of the things is get any false pretenses out of your head. Yeah. Allow the person that you're communicating to be the person that you're communicating. Don't bring up past experiences as a point of reference. Don't do that. Allow that person to be that person. Hear them out. Don't focus so much on delivery. Focus on what the message and the content is first. And realize you guys really do want the same thing out of that conversation, and that's to be heard.
Yeah, most definitely.
Your turn.
So I would say I definitely agree with everything that Brother Jay said. I would also say that I think one of the biggest things when it comes to communication, and Jay said as far as hear them out, that's really underrated as well. One of my biggest pet peeves of communication, period, and I don't care if it's just casual conversation during a heated discussion, during an argument, anything. I cannot stand when people cut me off. I have never liked it. I hate it. And there's way too many folks, especially when the passion gets you know, it rises up. There's way too many folks who just have a habit of cutting people off. And they'll say, well, I'm passionate, or I really want to say this, but really just letting people get their complete thought out and really comprehending and not just listening to respond is a very, very big key to communication, effective communication, in my opinion. I mean, just let it get, even if you listen to the whole thought and you're like, man, this sounds kind of weird or stupid or whatever, let that person get their thought out and take it in, comprehend it, and then get your point out. So I think that really just, and also like Brother Jay said, not going into things with preconceived notions. Go into any kind of interaction, any kind of communication with the intent of, and actually following through with your goal of just getting your thoughts out, hearing the other person's thoughts, comprehending them, and you guys having a discussion. I mean, I think that at the baseline, that should be where it's at. Anything else is just fluff.
Yeah, and B said, or when they think they are right.
Yeah. And
the truth be told, that's not a gender thing. That's a person thing. You got some people that just think that they're right and think that they know everything.
Right.
Me and my wife, we constantly, like, when we have conversations, and one of the things that have changed, like, we really don't argue. We have had some passionate conversations, but I think we both know that it's not at you. And if we ever feel like we're attacking one another, we'll be the first one to say it in there. Like, we'll be like, ooh, that came out wrong. But my bad about that. We keep going because it's okay to be passionate. It's okay to not always sit around and be formal, because we're human. So animation is part of what we do, and dramatics is part of what we do. I think, but the most part is being mindful if there's an offense that is happening, to say, you know what, that came out wrong, and just keep it moving. I think that we focus too much on the gender, and we have allowed society to make us think that we're like totally different, and we're really not. A lot of us want the same things out of life, and most of it is just to be respected, appreciated, loved, and treated well, you know? Let me see. Nichelle says, I have that problem sometimes thinking. I don't know what problem. Girl, we said so much. Can you tell us which one?
It might be the country. I have no idea. But
she probably is too. Because you know she's a single mama too. So you know single moms will cut you off in a minute. They already know what you're thinking and everything because they tired. They be cutting you off. Oh, Mama used to cut us off all the time. I know what you're thinking. I know what I'm thinking. Somebody, I hear your thoughts. Breaking generational habits.
Ooh, breaking generational habits. That one is a big one. And I'll say it again. People can say what they want about millennials and, you know, social media and this and that. But millennials, which Jay and I, even though we're a couple years apart, are in that age group. And a lot of
saying Jay is old.
A lot of folks think they're not millennials, but psych, y'all are. But my point is that in this age we're in right now, the information age, with social media, with millennials taking the reins, we are dissecting and breaking down a lot of those problematic generational habits and changing them. All those problematic or damaging heirlooms, we are doing away with those. We're having a lot of the conversations and making a lot of the change that has been passed down from generation to generation. So breaking generational habits is not easy. I don't think anybody ever said it was going to be, but it's definitely something that's happening, and we're doing it right now with social media being one of the key parts.
Yeah, I will probably say that to a certain extent, I want us not to confuse our right to choose with being right to judge.
Right.
Because there are certain generational habits you may like. And it's okay to have that right. But what some people fail to understand in that, just because you have triggers or traumatic stems from certain habits, that doesn't mean the same outcome happens in other people's households. Case in point, there are still men and women who live by traditional values, where the woman is okay with being a house manager, okay with preparing meals, okay with cleaning up the house, doing clothes and things like that. And then in another house, it may be totally different where the man is doing all of that. So that doesn't make any household wrong. So when we start talking about generational habits, it has to be a reflective thing only with you and the things that you impact. And if you are coupling with anyone, whether in any type of relationship that is, you want to talk about those type of habits that you were reared with, that other person may have a totally different experience. One of the things, like, my wife grew up in a more of a traditional home in a sense of her family was very tight-knit. My family was close. They just always came over to the house because my mom cooked. But her family, she had a 2-parent household and things like that. She's more old school when it comes to even with the children. She's like, no, you do as I say. And we ain't got time to go back and forth. Whereas for me, even though I grew up, in that type of environment, do as I say, I believe in allowing the kids to be a little bit more expressive. And so that's just one of those conversations we sometimes go back and forth with, like, well, what is too far? Yeah. Or what is considered disrespect? And let's try to come up with something, because I may be a little lax. And she's like, you didn't hear what she just said to me? And I might not see nothing wrong with it, whereas my wife may see something wrong with it. But that's generational habits that we have to have a conversation about. Yeah. And you just can't assume that someone may feel or share the same sentiments that you do.
Right. Definitely.
You know what I mean?
Not a one-size-fits-all glove.
Now, on the flip side, I do believe that it's the man's responsibility. As for me and my house, it's the man's responsibility to carry most of the weight. Some people may agree with that, may not agree with that, and say, it's 50-50. I'll be like, yeah, it's 50-50 with everything else, but I believe that the weight of the survival and the protection of the family will be on me. And to be honest, that's not even up for debate, because it's my family.
Yep.
I'm married to one woman, one wife, 2 kids. Michelle talking about she struggles with always thinking she's right.
That doesn't surprise me.
It surprises me, Michelle. Oh, yeah, that kind of changes everything. Isaiah said, okay. Look, it keep moving because people keep talking. Okay. Look, you got.
Yeah, I got it. If you want me to read it.
Yeah, read Isaiah.
He said, correct. However, a lot of young people don't know how to properly communicate because of social media technology. They can text all day long, but don't know how to hold an intelligent conversation. Well,
I disagree.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
I think some people are awkward anyway and poor communicators, and I think we view social media as an excuse for poor upbringing or lack of accountability in the education system. Yeah. And when I'm saying education, I'm not even talking about the teachers. I'm talking about the reinforcement in that village that they're supposed to be attached to. Because on the flip side, like, I have 2 children, and it actually helps them with communicating because they get an opportunity to speak to different people and express themselves differently. And like my 8-year-old, her vocabulary is expansive, and it's really it's coming from social media and YouTube, and I'm very impressed with it. So I definitely think it depends on people, and I try to shy away from blaming any vices for anything. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
My brother said my house like that. He said his house like that, but I don't know which house he talking about. What house is like? Which one of the houses are like that? And he talking about, I'm a total work-at-home dad. But let's clarify, you work. You really work. He really works. He's not a dad manager, home manager. He actually does work. Yeah. He just has the privilege of working from home. Because a lot of supposed to be on tonight, my older brother.
What's up, Rodney?
Rodney White. I did a post about him earlier this week. He has a shirt that he won't let me sell on my website that I'm really trying. I might just take you to court for it, that you're going to win anyway, because it's your shirt. Look, it's his shirt. Yeah. I'm just going to do it, just go to people's court. Let's go to people's court. But anyway, he has a shirt that says equal rights for me doesn't mean less rights for you. It's not a pie.
Yeah, I did see that.
And that actually is phenomenal, because he did a great job of taking things that are stereotypically oppressive and flipped it and made them terms of empowerment. He actually has Black on Black clothing line, but it's more than clothing line. It's actually a movement because it challenged you to rethink some of the things that we were told not to say or used to get upset about, and he just re-challenged that. He was like thinking Black girl magic. He was like, that's redundant because that's like saying magic. So things like that. He has a lot of stuff out there, and because it's Black History Month, I think that it will behoove you to really get some authentic stuff because he's an artist as well. He's a poet, and so those things come out. And he actually has a successful track record. So when some people say artist, they usually think, oh, starving artist. But no, this dude ain't starving. Was a featured shop in Target. Okay. His work has been in, what's the place called? World Market, Barnes and Nobles. I'm missing some. Hobby Lobby, all of those things. And if you go into some of those places, you still see him like Value City and stuff like that. And he's moved on. That was just his decor line. You've seen his work and stuff like multiple Disney sitcoms and also in multiple movies. Like we remember seeing it like in Magic Mike. So his work is all over the place. You might recognize the work but not know who he is, but he's definitely making an impact. And he's using art as a way to do that. And Tara actually has one of his pieces as well. So he's doing a lot of great things in there, and he's redefining. He'll let you know first that he is, a feminist, and he definitely believes in equal rights as well for all ethnicities and subcultures as well. And Black on Black is the platform that is doing that. It's speaking out against it. So Black on Black, BK.com. That's what's up. He said, no, I'm not a homager.
He said, I'm a home manager.
He said, no, I am a home manager. Okay, he a home manager. So let's see who's next. Tara's talking about his work is on, you can read those. I'm going to read those while I go to the next question.
So Tara said his work is on my wall. And she said that's all the credit he needs. That's all the credit needed. And then Michelle said that's so dope, which it is. It's really dope.
Yeah, he's got a level of dopeness. I think dopeness runs in the bloodline, to be honest.
Probably track record is good, like you said. Track record is good.
I'm just saying, there's a lot of dopeness that runs through these veins, man. I'm just saying, it's deep. If you haven't had an opportunity, his wife and his oldest daughter was in the American Girl campaign, and I shared that video a while ago as well. So they're making big impact, and they got some other nuggets that are coming out where they're getting big industries to hear their story and to get out there, and they're changing the narrative. My sister-in-law is a Latina, and she makes up 2% of the executive marketing industry, and she's making big changes, and she's a little woman, but she plays no games.
That's definitely
okay. So let's see, you got some more? Or that was all of them?
Let's see. Well, Mama Garnett linked the website. Michelle said, my son wants to be an artist. She thinks she's talking about her oldest. Rodney White said, look at Mama, linking the website.
That's Mama. Mama used to have us at flea markets. Mama used to have a store. She was our first entrepreneur that we knew. Threes and Charms. So my mom always had something going. Our favorite gig that she had for the longest is when she used to sell lingerie and have lingerie parties at the house. Custom fitted bras. My mama is the G. Yes, that was a beautiful time. My mama was amazing. But why women don't want men to be emotional? I don't know the answer to that one.
We don't speak for women, so maybe the ladies, if you want to chime on that in the comments, we can read some of that. But whoever had that topic, we don't ever.
Oh, go ahead.
We don't ever fix ourselves to speak for anybody, especially women. We speak for ourselves.
It was just such a blatant statement too. I was like, why women don't want men to be emotional, period, when, during? Because to be honest, I don't know what y'all be saying. I see a lot of emotional dudes.
Yeah.
And matter of fact, Ian and I just had a whole conversation about this. Just because communication is different, going back up to it, that doesn't mean people are not communicating. Just because they're not communicating, we got to get out of the habit of wanting people to communicate a certain way. Communication is just a transfer of ideas, beliefs, thoughts, emotions, and all of those things. So if somebody is transferring something to you and you just don't catch it, stop saying that they are a poor communicator. You might be a poor receiver. I didn't mean to do it like that. It just came out naturally. I down those. Shut up. Let's see. Get in there. I want my man to know it's okay to cry in front of me. Disclaimer: we can't speak of what women do or don't want. That was you. Well, okay. But we will speak on it from a point of view, though. Then I'm just going to all of that together. Okay. Talk about why men feel as if it's not okay to express their feelings. We should have put those together.
Yeah. So okay, so the person who had the original topic of why don't women want mental emotional was my friend, my sister, is Stephanie. So
that's a dope name too. It's Stephanie.
Yeah. So she put that up there, and the disclaimer was I put up there. My reply to her comment was, we can't speak to what women do or don't want. That's for them to express.
Right.
We don't. Yeah. That's not that kind of party over here. So as far as why men feel it's not okay to express their feelings, well, one, like Brother Jay said, men do express their feelings. It's just that if you don't catch it, then that is a separate discussion. You may not catch it. On the other side of that, there are some men who don't feel okay expressing emotions because two things. Well, I'll say no. They're kind of wrapped into the same thing. Conditioning in their household and by society. In some households, emotions from a boy who later becomes a man are not welcomed, and they are often suppressed forcefully, even in some places. Society says that men are not supposed to feel emotions outside of the stereotypical ones: happy, sad, mad. That's it. Happy, sad, mad.
Homosexual.
Yeah, or lusty, aroused, whatever you want to call it.
Lusty.
Yeah, those
lusty.
Those four. Those are the ones. Those, especially here in America, those are the only emotions that men are supposed to feel. We're supposed to roll those and pick one that's supposed to fit every situation. And so it's just one of those things where way too many fellas get caught in that problematic wheel, and they get ran over by it. So they go through life really just suppressing the full spectrum of their emotions into those four. And they are just taught that it's not okay to express anything other than those. Even those are suspect depending on who you're around or what the situation is.
And I'm just going to say this. We recognize that some of those things are out there and some of those social constructs are out there. And that's why Brother Empowerment is here, to let our sisters know all guys are not like that narrative, right. But most importantly, to let our brothers know you are supported, yep. And we do hear you. Mm-hmm. Because there is certain things that are just, there's certain things that women have that only women can relate to, and there's certain things that men have that men can relate to. And guys do express themselves. Guys are emotional. I think somebody just said it. Tara just said it. Let's not confuse one with relinquishing their authority over themselves to you as being lacking emotion. If I don't want you to walk all over me, I don't want you to walk all over me. If I don't want you to disrespect me, I don't want you to disrespect me. And if shutting down is helping a man stay centered, a lot of times you have to examine what type of preconceived notions you're bringing to the equation, yep. And what type of darts are coming from you. Yep. Because the funny thing is, we always talk about this. Have you ever noticed one person has a narrative of a person and you can talk to another person, they have a totally different experience? Yep. Sometimes it's you could not be compatible. Mm-hmm. Sometimes it's a self-check. Sometimes it's reflection. And sometimes somebody just don't feel like talking and need a break. Maybe they just want to go out downstairs, don't want to figure out anything, and just need a minute to decompress, and you're not giving them that minute. Yeah. Sometimes it's not even complicated. Sometimes it's just as simple as, oh, you're in a bad mood? Let me leave you alone. Yeah. Maybe that's not the time to say, tell me how you feeling. I don't want to. I just want to sit here and just marinate in this anger for a minute to release it. But it might be, and people, let's get clear. The road to hell is paved with good intentions.
Yes, it is.
Just because you come to somebody with a good intent doesn't mean that you won't cause all hell in their life. Leave people alone sometimes. If a person say, I'm good, leave me alone, leave me alone. Yep. Don't say, you shut me out. No, I want you to leave me alone right now. Just this moment. Yep. Just leave me alone. We'll talk about it, man.
Your intent matters not if you mess up stuff in the process or the end result is you mess something up.
Don't be aggy.
Yeah. So, we got a couple comments. So,
you going to start all the way up?
Well, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so.
DJ Tyrone and J-Lock is on, too.
What's up, J-Lock?
Our collaborators for the Brother Empowerment Cookout. Yep, go ahead.
So Tashia said, she said, who put that daggone question up there talking about the men being emotional question? I already answered that question, Tashia. Tara said, I love my emotional men. Androids keep it moving. Tara, that's pretty dope. I like that. So Tashia said, shaking my head, healthy women welcome men's emotions. I agree. Tara said, Jay, you always crying. Joy said, women don't mind men being emotional. And then Tara already said, I do think strong women really don't like men that let them walk all over them. Let's see. Joy also said, I feel a man feeling comfortable enough to be emotional in my presence is a privilege because he trusts me with his vulnerability.
Who, Karen, said that?
Joy said that.
Joy said it, okay.
And said, Tashia said, cry on, brothers. I love my black men. We're not just talking about crying.
Y'all so,
yeah, see.
Y'all be so extra.
Sean said, I think women need to understand that men tend to deal with emotions differently. Because of conditioning and the current environment, yes, I think so too. Chandra said, hey, Chandra. Hey. She said, yeah, I have to be quiet because hateful words cannot be unsaid, so I tried to say them the first time. The first time? How about not at all? But you know what? That's okay.
She said, now the second time, I'm going to say it.
You know what? So Wally said, stop it. I don't know what he's referring to. Yeah. I don't know what he's referring to. And Isaiah said, why can't we all just let people be?
That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, really, I am a fan of that. And then B said, AB, she said, men, not manipulators. Well, manipulator happens to be a man. He's a manipulator man.
He's a manipulator. He's literally a manipulator. Yeah. It's true form of it. But yeah, that's if it's really happening. Let's see. Healing the broken child of the inside of adults. Oh, healing the broken child inside of you.
Ooh, I know exactly what that was. Tashia.
That was Tashia.
Yeah. Her deep and insightful self. So.
Oh, love mate-ish.
Man, so. This really hits home simply because, I went through things in my childhood that I didn't deal with for a long time that I suppressed. And I talk to Brother Jay about this quite often. I actually, because of my defense mechanism I formulated parts of a personality that weren't even organically my own. And I didn't realize that until I got out of my previous relationship 3 years ago. I realized that there were some parts of my personality that weren't me. They weren't me. And I had just defense mechanisms that were just built in that I just ran to without even thinking about it. So I can say that healing the broken child or person inside of me was the things that helped me most were self-reflection, therapy, and really having a conversation with those people from my childhood whose weight I was carrying. Giving that weight back, having that conversation, having just those interactions and getting it out. All those three things helped me the most in healing that damaged child that's inside of me that just built on top of that pain.
I'll just go with this. Trauma and pain has no expiration date.
Yeah.
And so we got to get out of the mindset, well, that was so long ago.
Yeah.
So the very first step in realizing that if it bothers you today, it's still as fresh as if it happened today. So we want to definitely make sure that first acknowledge your pain. Don't try, I have to say this, healing is not a permanent state. Meaning healing is not, it's a phenomenon that happens one time, oh, I'm healed and I'm done.
Yeah.
What makes you healed is maintaining or the maintenance of healing. Yeah. Making sure that you're putting certain parameters in place. Because guess what? After every surgery, there will be a scar. Yeah. But you determine what you're going to do with that scar. Are you going to allow that scar to heal so you can use that part of your body again? Or are you going to always play with it because it's a scar? Yeah. So just because you have a scar doesn't mean you're not healed. You know what I mean? And so just because you're going through something, just because you're experiencing something, doesn't mean you're not healed because you feel it. Because you feel it because you're human. Anytime something happens, if I punch him, he's going to feel it. I'm not going to say, oh, you're supposed to be healed from abuse. No, you keep punching me. It hurts. So we got to get past thinking that certain things, one, are time limit based. Two, things are just all-inclusive, one time only, like, oh, this is your one time only to be healed. Oh, do you want to be healed now? Or do you want to be healed now? Oh, missed it. No, we don't want to do that. We want to give people an opportunity to maintain that cycle of healing. The continual of care of self is what makes you healed. Maintaining that, acknowledging that, realizing that you're going to have good days, bad days, realizing that even though you are over a situation, you still can feel the pain from that. I'm over the fact that I was molested at 11, but that still doesn't take away the fact that I still feel the pain that I felt when I was 11 years old. I still smell the breath of the dude from when I was 11 years old, but that doesn't mean that I'm still bound by it. Sometimes you remember things to help other people come out of it. Or sometimes you remember things so other people won't go through it. Remember, we need each other in this world to survive. It's not about independence, it's about interdependence. So if you want to start healing, get connected. For one, receive some type of acknowledgement and start your process of rehabilitation the best way you know to be restored in the way that is most comfortable for you and not based on the definitions and the confines of other people.
All of that.
Get in there.
Yeah, all of that.
Okay. Well, you got some comments?
Yes, we do. Let's see. Tashia said, thank you for your transparency. Love Mae Gibson. Great handle on this topic. Thank you, Tashia. That topic was heavy.
Your approval means so much to us.
Yes, it does. Isaiah said, oh gosh, that's hard. Things that helped me was my Heavenly Father, Queen MJB, think Mary J. Blige, therapy, and music. Plus, keep in mind, if you...
No, he was saying his J in the boys.
Oh.
Yeah, Abandonment.
Okay. So, plus keep in mind, if you treat people better than the way they treat you, watch God bless you. Tara said, everyone should ask themselves, why am I the way I am? Often, might not even realize they operate in pain. Yeah, that's a big one right there, Tara, for real. Michelle said, the maintenance of healing is my struggle. Yeah.
A lot of us struggle with that.
Yeah. Tashia said, brother love, that was profound. Every surgery leaves a scar. Karen said, dealing with my personal trauma has helped me through the situation from more than one position. And yeah, as they said, no, I meant my queen, Mary J. Blige.
You know, I try to help that boy. He don't want to be helped. You know, it's so funny. Every time Karen is on here, like, Karen is a dope poet, but Karen was the first woman that I knew because I met her when I was in college. My freshman year, I think it was her sophomore, junior year in college. But she taught me so much about women taking ownership of their body, women understanding the difference between sexuality and sensuality, but also sexual exploration, sexual expression. And she has a lot of those poems out there. She also was Miss South Carolina, Full Woman, and she used Love as a Parable as her platform.
Okay.
Yeah, right. But guys, if you really are open to understanding and exploring who you are from, you know, it's so funny it's sexual, but it's not sexual because it's so educational. I definitely would tell you to connect with Karen because, man, she said some deep stuff and I'm still sitting there be like, what? But yeah, you got some more comments?
Nope, just people replying to each other. Michelle and Tashia having a little conversation.
A whole conversation?
Yeah.
That's so disrespectful. Okay, so bro.
One more?
No.
Okay.
Positive Brother shout out. First, look, for y'all who don't know, make sure you follow my brother My mom already put the link in there. Check the website out. It's great. Let's go ahead and support one another. Let's uplift one another. This is actually, those shirts are great conversation starters. And he has other merch that's on there. So if you guys have not already made it to the website, go to the website, but also make sure that you go follow his page on Facebook and Instagram. Okay, now it's on you, bro.
All right, Brother shout out, man. Definitely shout out Jay first and foremost, man. He's my co-star, my co-host, whatever you want to call it. Brother in arms, brother in healing, whatever you want to call it. So
that's pretty dope. I like that. Thank you, bro.
So I definitely want to shout out my brother Jay. Shout out Uncle Marcus, Uncle Antoine. Shout out Brian and Ian. New graduates, man. You guys are both of y'all are super dope, brother. Shout out Mac for being his dope self and being dope on that grill. Shout out all the brothers on the live today: Sean, Jack, Kerwin, Rodney, all y'all brothers. We definitely appreciate y'all every week. And even the weeks that you're on the live or you tune into later, showing support. And shout out to all the brothers that are being at the Brother Empowerment Cookout. I cannot wait to connect with y'all, to take some fly flicks, to really just fellowship with y'all, and really just be around y'all brothers. And yeah, the other thing I want to say is that, also shout out to Noe, my brother Noe. He started a book club for brothers that is really dope. And you know, we connect on a daily basis, definitely weekly, but on a daily basis. I was talking to some of those brothers, and we had a meeting not too long ago, and at the Barnes & Noble in Briar Creek, and one of the brothers said, you know, one of the things that he likes about fellowship with brothers, and he wants more brothers to understand, is that, you know, there's way too many brothers or people just in general who, in a group, who want to be the sword, because, you know, the sword is what you see and it's flashy and whatnot, and, you know, that there's other parts. And I expounded on that by saying, when it comes to, as one of my favorite sayings is, iron sharpens iron. And I expounded upon what he said by saying that there's more than one way, or not one way, but there's multiple things that are part of keeping a sword sharp. You have the sheath that the sword goes in to protect it from the elements. You have the sharpening rock or tool that you use to keep the sword sharp. So, and there's multiple things that go to keeping a sword sharp, and or keeping that iron or a steel sharp, that are not as talked about, but they're important parts of the process. And as brothers, my whole point of saying that is, brothers, we are all instrumental in each other's process. Even though we're not at the forefront, or it's not flashy, or it may not be, you know, really, really profound, but we are all part of each other's process. We are all part of each other's fellowship circle. And so we should really just connect and be together, because we can grow. We grow faster together than we do separately. That's all I got.
Yeah, I just echo that. I'm definitely excited, and I'm actually honored that my older brother was on, because he usually is not on Facebook.
Yeah,
he usually do a lot more stuff on Instagram, and it's so funny because he's more successful on Instagram, and we're more successful on Facebook.
Yeah.
And so, guys, I definitely feel like it's time to empower one another. So I thank you guys for asking for the link. I put the Facebook link on there, and I also put the website on there as well. I definitely want to thank all of my brothers, Kerwin and Ian and Brian, have done so much for me personally, spiritually, having that balance. Cordell just being here, dealing with the frustrations of the frustrations. So I definitely want you guys to know that I appreciate you, I value you, I love you. Sean, I can't wait to meet you. Isaiah, I can't wait to connect with you again. All of you brothers that are on here, this is the thing I want you to make sure you understand. Please stop questioning your awesomeness. Please stop questioning your gifts. Please stop trying to dumb down, stupefy who you are when you were born excellent. You know, I was thinking about this today. Well, I thought about it earlier this week. I realized why I never got too caught up in the Black girl magic phenomenon, and I get the whole essence of it. But the reason why I never got caught up in the Black girl magic thing is because I'm tired of us as African Americans feeling like we have to find a strategic way to explain our natural because it's super to everybody else. It's not our fault that we are extremely awesome in so many different ways, and the only way that you can explain it is for people to say it's out of this world. No, it's within our world. This is no deception. This is no mystical illusion. This is really who we are, and we just can't help the fact that our natural is your super. And we don't need to find another word to say, no, I can't help the fact that I'm naturally awesome. And if we do that now just to explain so other people can relate to our ability to withstand, to create, to empower, to even endure and persevere through all of those things, imagine what we're instilling into our children. And it's time for us to just own our awesomeness and own our greatness and own the beauty of us. And it's not our fault that we was gifted it. So we have to receive that. And on those lines, I'm gonna read another poem from my book, Random Thoughts, Phases of a Poetic Mind, and it's called Indebtedness, which is realizing that you can't put a price tag on your value. Retribution for honest mistakes, contribution for honest mistakes, rewards for honest mistakes. Stand, 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 do whatever it takes. Nothing is supposed to make sense, just make statements. Period stopped, then commas pause, yield to nothing until all is withdrawn, passively still away to righteousness, submissively yell into the diminutive tones of motivated by the internal celebration. Make manifestation your appreciation. Smile at your opponents of envy. Welcome them with salutations because you are aware of your valuation. You completed the estimation with admiration, consecrated by the bountifulness of excellence, superior talents and craft of distinction, not to mention that the association of beautification, that's you, that's I. We must know us, meet us, and sing tunes on parallel moons, caged in bars and twinkling stars. Stand close to one another, hanging on the lips of first impressions, mesmerized by the last detection of simplicity in awkward surroundings, and the music forgets to start. We're singing interfraternal hymns on the acceptance of all that's understood in this spiritual brother sisterhood. Silence whispers gratitude. The soul embraces internal external pleasure. Bathed in ecstasy, this is meant for me, indebtedness. That's it. Thank y'all for coming out. God bless y'all. Thank y'all for coming out, guys. We'll see y'all next week, and we appreciate everything that you guys are doing. Make sure you go to the website to see all of the great announcements, get to meet our advisory committee, hear their story, hear what they're about, meet our leadership board. And then I've also added emails on there now because we're an official dog. Yeah. So you guys have a wonderful night. And like we always say, if you feel like no one in this world loves you, know that you have two people standing right here with you, supporting you, agreeing with you. We're here. We love you. Y'all guys have a wonderful night.
See y'all next week. Bye.